Hello friends, welcome to Squaird Plans, where creative planning and organization comes to life. I'm Stephanie, and today we're going to be creating a fall bucket list for our planners. Such a great way to create some seasonal planner decor and add just a bit of fun to life. So let's get to it. And I've got these post-it notes here ready to go, as well as this disc punching tool, some wall washi in a wood pattern, this small leaf paper punch that I'll be using, some transparent vinyl sticker sheets, and some white cardstock for printing on. First off, you guys, this process did not turn out how I wanted to, but I'm going to take you through all the steps in case you are inspired to do something fantastic for your planners by watching this. I come up with something that I think I'm happy with, but just the process itself and just everything that I tried in the beginning was a bit of a struggle bus moment for me. So I actually ended up filming this 2 separate days because the first day I was not getting in the groove and struggled a bit. So just a little FYI on that. What my idea is to do is to create a tree with leaves that have bucket list items on them. So my idea right now is to create this washi tree by first outlining it on a piece of cardstock and then using the washi tape and kind of outlining where the tree would be, or filling it in, I guess would be a better way to say that, and using the washi tape in order to make the pattern. This was a bit difficult, I will say, not an easy task, but I tried it so you can kind of see what the process would be if you wanted to do something like this on your own. Another way you could have done this is to just draw in a tree, just, with pen and ink, which I think would have looked good as well. But as you'll see in the end, the washi tape does come into play. I wasn't originally thinking to take the washi tape off of the tree, but in the end, that's where we go with it. So keep watching. You'll figure out what's happening a little bit later. One of the things I've learned working with this wood washi is to make sure that the grain is aligned as best you can. So for the trunk, I was very adamant about setting up the grain so that it looks like it's a seamless trunk and not in pieces. And now I'm doing my best to bring in the branches that would naturally kind of go towards the side as far as the grain of the wood, and working that in and trying to make a tree-like shape fairly organic. And I'm just using the scraps that I cut off of the tree trunk there to kind of set up the branches. And now that that's done, I'm going to trim off the excess washi tape where they overlap. So again, it looks a little bit more seamless. The thing about washi tape is that it is semi-transparent, so you do see any overlaps, and I wasn't really liking that look. I'm just using my precision cutting tool for this process. It's perfect for this. We're just kind of cutting a shallow line right through the washi tape, but not through the paper, unless you wanted to. If you wanted to cut through the paper, you just got to push really hard. But the natural pressure is just perfect for cutting through like a sticker or washi like this and separating it out while leaving the page behind it intact. So I'm using that, and I've set up kind of a baseline for how I want this to look. I have my penciled out drawing that I can actually see through the washi tape, which is great because then I can kind of follow the line that I had, even though I've covered most of it with these, pieces of wood washi. That allows me to really figure out exactly how I want this to go. I'm not following all the lines exact, so there are some that I'm kind of just making it up as I go along. But I really just wanted some branchy looking elements off of the tree so that when I add the leaves, it kind of fills in the tree itself. So I'm just quickly going through cutting up those pieces using my scissors for the most part, but I think I do end up going back to the precision cutter at some point for some of the real tight areas that are hard to get to with scissors. And like I said, this was just an idea I had, so this is my attempt to see how it would turn out. Again, not exactly how I wanted it to be. I envisioned something a little bit different in my mind, but did want to share it with you in case, you look at this and think, oh, it'd be cool if I did X, Y, or Z, come up with something even better. I would love to see how this might inspire you to do something that you really love. So if you do, and you do post on, Instagram or even on YouTube, tag me. I would love to see what you come up with. I was really just kind of in a rut with the way that I've been doing the bucket lists the last couple of times. I really like that style where I create a spine holding bucket list that kind of sits in my monthly layout. But because I've moved my scheduling area to a single page monthly, I thought it would be really nice to have something that was next to that. And since I don't really need it to go over a spread, I have a full page to work with. So kind of got my mind going on how I could, do this differently and not do it like most happy planner people do, which is just like a page of boxes and things to do with some stickers thrown in. I like to do things that are a little bit different, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, but that's part of the fun, is just trying things and seeing how they come out. So I've got the tree, and we're just going to jump to the next area, which was me figuring out, okay, I did not like how that turned out. So maybe we would start over. So I had put that tree to the side and decided to do a whole different thing using maybe a piece of cardstock that I cut down to classic planner size, and doing the other part of what I was thinking, which was those leaves holding the individual bucket list items, and then just putting it on a piece of cardstock. So since this one had like a pile of leaves, I thought that would work fairly well. Yeah, I didn't love this one either, but you can kind of see the process again of what I went through trying to make this work. So I began with some acrylic markers that I got recently from Stationery Pal, which I really love, and pinned in the title for the page. This cardstock came in the cardstock pack. The rest of this here are some Post-it notes that I also got at Stationery Pal that I thought would be good for different types of leaves. I only have this tiny little leaf paper punch, so I'm punching through the Post-its, and then I had printed 2 sizes of last year's fall bucket list printable and shrunk them down. So I did it with the layout for 2 up so that I could do like half sheets. And then I actually shrunk down one on top of that down to 80%. So it's like half and then plus 80% of that. So that's what I'm actually using here with these really tiny leaves. There is still a little bit of overlap on top of the punched Post-its where the excess clear sticker kind of doesn't fit within the confines of the leaf. But it's really minor, and the vinyl sticker sheets that I used to print on is pretty repositionable. It's not a real permanent bond type thing. So if it sticks down to the page, I can usually pick it up fairly easily. The reason I did this is so that these little Post-it leaves could be actually placed on my single page monthly as items that I can kind of schedule in. So that was the idea here. Pretty good, I thought, so that I would really kind of be even more mindful to fit in the fun into my schedule instead of waiting for it to work out. And that's the whole process of why I decided to do these little Post-it notes that could stick down and then also be moved and removed, etc. So I'm just picking out some of the items that I think I want to do this fall, or maybe can do. It's going to be a pretty tricky fall for me since we're still planning to move, but things keep getting pushed back, and it's just kind of like this background stress. So I really can't prepare for like fall like I would normally, where I would decorate the house and, just get plans going for like going apple picking or go, do some photography days at the pumpkin patch or something, just those typical fall things. So I'm trying to get a good list of things here that I think are doable, manageable, not too stressful, but I can easily just kind of drop into my schedule and make some fall fun happen. And as you can see, I'm taking about 2 or 3 of those Post-it notes at a time and punching them through with my leaf punch. I think this is a really great idea. I do wish I had a larger leaf punch though. So if this is something that you're like, yeah, that's cool, I want to do that, hopefully you have a larger one than I do. Mine is very small, but if you do want to use the same printables, like I said, you want to do the layout being 2 pages per sheet and then shrink it down by scaling it to 80% to fit on that very small punch. Or do maybe a sample before on regular copier paper before you print and kind of figure out what sizing would work best for your punch size. So here's where I was kind of less than enthused about it being on the large sheet and with the leaves. I didn't really want more bucket item list than I had there, so I was like, well, that's too much space for all those tiny little leaves. And I had the other side of that page where I cut it off from the 12 by 12 square. I thought, okay, kind of makes a good half sheet. So we tried that. And then I repinned in the title, again using those acrylic markers, which are really great for this. I got a nice opaque coloring that really sets well on top of the pre-printed page. So that's kind of cute. I'm not mad about that, but it's just a little bit, I don't know, it's just not speaking to me. Decided to try to drop in a little bit of washi tape, maybe to add some pattern and some fall color, but I don't know. I grabbed some grid washi that I got from Plannything. It's a little bit too much grid probably, and just not feeling it. So this is like near the end of the day, and I'm just trying to make things work. So I just keep doing things. It's the way it works. Sometimes when I'm trying to build something, I just keep trying things, sometimes to the detriment of whatever it is I'm doing. For example, like outlining these letters. I don't know. I thought maybe I'll make it a little bolder. Yeah, that wasn't better. This is basically where I was like, I'm done here. I don't know what to do. And I just dropped it in. But here's me showing you how I plan to use those little tiny leaves on my monthly calendar. So we're on to day 2. And here I had another idea to use this dashboard that I made in my fall refresh for 2022. It's basically just a printout of a couple of images I had gotten off of Canva and made into a dashboard. So it's just a real simple look, and I was using it as a backer for my sticky dash, but it was a little too dark. So this side of the dashboard really didn't get used up at all. And then on the other side, there's a really nice kind of like fall looking scene there with like some cocoa and just a cozy scene. And so I thought it would be good that it wasn't just blank on the back side in case I turn, the page. It's nice to have something in the back. So then I got the idea that maybe I would actually put that tree directly onto this dashboard, and I fiddled with it a little bit before I started filming, and then I was just like, let's do it. Let's try it. So I started to move it over, although I had to shrink it up just a little bit because I wanted you to see the leaf litter there at the bottom to give it a little bit more of a presence there sitting in the leaves. Yeah, I mean, I think it kind of works. And again, I'm happy with it in the end, but not, I don't know, just not how I envisioned, I guess is the way I want to say it. But hopefully, like I said, this will spark some ideas for you guys if you're looking for some new ideas for your fall bucket list or just some fresh decor for your planner this year. This is how I ended up settling on my final look. And I'm just dropping in the branches now along the tree trunk where they were approximately on my cutout. Some of these were a little bit tricky. They were so thin they would pull up the paper, really hard to detach. So some were a little bit easier to move over than others. But I ended up getting them all over pretty well. It has a vibe to it. I don't know if that's a good or a bad vibe, but it's got a vibe to it. So yeah, very arts and crafts. Yeah. Never hurts to try new things. So just bear with me here. It takes me a little while to get some of these really tiny pieces off of the cutout and onto the sheet. But we're getting close to done. Again, if you are going to do this, you could just draw it and then you could really make it part of the landscape, or even better, now that I'm looking at it, even better, find an image with a spindly tree that you can just throw those leaves onto. So there's a couple ideas for you that might help, your process if you want to do something similar. That would be really simple and easy, and I think that would look really good too. So here I'm going to go ahead and move over the leaves from the failed second attempt, we'll say. And I'm just going to try to drop them in where they look like they might be sprouting off of the tree limbs. It's a little bit hodgepodgey, but you get the gist. And the lighter color here works a little bit better than on the other sheet because of the dark background, so I like that. I might have one maybe falling down. I'm trying to get one in this little hole, but it's like it doesn't want to stick to the washi tape because it's got like a waxy coating to it. So it has to be either sticking to the page or not at all. So I thought about adding in a nice fall sticker header, but in the end, I think it's just going to get lost because of the dark background. So then I went back to those acrylic markers and decided to try to pin it in one more time. It took a little bit to really saturate the letters because, again, it's a printed sheet, so my toner kind of coats the page. But I do like how it turned out in the end. And that is pretty much the final. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up down below. Also, go ahead and leave me a comment if you'd like to get in touch. And think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, if you'd like to see more of my videos. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time. Bye!